We will never give up. We will never concede.
January 6th in 2021 was supposed to be an ordinary day in the United States. Joe Biden had been declared the victor and the election process was in its last leg. But just as the Vice President and the House Speaker were going to begin the certification, there were chants of Hank Pence and Pelosi. All because of his speech an hour before the riots.
We will never give up. We will never concede. So let's walk down Pennsylvania Avenue. I want to thank you all. God bless you and God bless America.
There was chaos in the heart of American democracy. Donald Trump supporters smashed their way into the Congress, all of them very convinced that an election win was stolen from their leader, Donald Trump. Joe Biden called the day a dark chapter in US history. Donald Trump called it a day of love. That's all you need to know about the polarized American society. But no matter which side of history you are on, it was illegal what took place at the Capitol building on January 6th. And that prompted the largest single criminal investigation in the country's history. Turns out it was all for nothing.
And tonight I'm going to be signing on the J6 hostages, pardons, to get them out. And as soon as I leave, I'm going to the Oval Office and we'll be signing pardons for a lot of people.
Trump pardoned nearly every single convicted January 6th rioter, 1,500 to be exact. A majority of them had pleaded guilty and admitted in court that they broke the law. The pardons include men who viciously beat police officers, pepper sprayed the men and women in uniform, attacked members of the media, and destroyed government property. The pending cases, 300 of them that were yet to be tried, all stand dismissed.
It means that the power of prayer is continued and full-hearted, and that if we come together, there's nothing that can stop us. We have to join forces and quit being divided.
Full presidential pardon, that's what we got. Nobody gets those, people like me. I'm just a working man, dude. People like us don't get presidential pardons.
It did not come as a surprise because Trump used the pardoning as a critical campaign tool. People close to him recommended case-by-case pardons. In fact, just a week ago, Vice President J.D. Vance said Trump, quote-unquote, obviously would not pardon those who committed violence. Instead, there is a blanket pardon. There was no difference between someone who injured a police officer so badly that he died and others who were just part of the mob. Trump's decision singled out 14 members of far-right extremist groups, like the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, who received commutations instead of pardons, which basically means that they will be freed from prison but won't have the civil rights restored, like they cannot vote.
And we heard President Trump say that he's going to be taking action for the J6 hostages. That's when I knew for sure, but I always knew he was going to do it. I had no doubt. I had full faith in him doing it.
So, what do you want to say to Trump right now?
Just thank you.
What emotions did you feel
Absolutely.
when the pardon came down?
Just of course relief. But like I said, I knew it was coming. Joy.
Call it the power of the pardon pen or red meat for the red base. The actions have prompted some very serious reactions.
There is no other way to describe President Trump's pardon of January 6th offenders than un-American. It is so deeply un-American. President Trump didn't just pardon protesters. He pardoned individuals convicted of assaulting police officers. He pardoned individuals convicted of seditious conspiracy. And he pardoned those who attempted to undermine our democracy.
I think they were absolutely justified. Again, I don't know all the cases. I certainly don't want to pardon any violent actors, but there was a real miscarriage of justice.
We need to keep in mind that Trump's word might not be the last one. Presidential pardons can be subjected to constitutional constraints. And while the power is expansive, it is not limitless. The problem is that all of this is in theory. Congress, the judiciary, and the executive branch all have been given the power to make sure that pardons aren't abused. But the history on this is sketchy. Judges have very little discretion to stop what the Justice Department asks for. What does this tell us about America's justice system? Precedents have broad pardon power in the United States, we have established that, but it's generally constrained by political concerns and norms. The first of its kind was issued in 1795 by George Washington to people who participated in the Pennsylvania Whiskey Rebellion. More recently, Jimmy Carter pardoned a few men who evaded being drafted in the Vietnamese War. But times have changed. It's more personal than political. In his final hours in office, President Joe Biden pardoned most of his family members and those part of the Jan 6th committee to protect his people if Trump resorts to revenge. Experts are calling this a weaponization of the justice system by both sides of the aisle. For Trump, it is about keeping his campaign promise and rewarding his supporters who fought for him, even if that meant breaking the law. For Biden, it is about using his power to keep his son from going behind bars. So sometimes it's political, other times it's personal. But our question is it moral? Are precedents above the law in the United States? I'll leave with that food for thought. I'm Ananya Datta for Hindustan Times. I'll see you soon.
What the changes in India's population and the differential growth rates.
This city has emerged.
We have a very special guest on the record.
The interview.
The role that the US side played at that point of time.
पूरी दुनिया की नजर.
Assume my phone is tapped. I can probably say hello to Mr. Modi.
आपके भारत पर है.
Episode of Know Your Candidate.
The rising confidence of India under Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
Communist China is the greatest threat.
There will come a day that we will see far more radical extremist.
I'm still a little perplexed by why we.
Your daily dose of news from India and across the world. Cutting-edge views and analysis. Tune into HT videos. Click on the bell icon to subscribe.